Hello and welcome to week 2 of the British and Irish Professional League. I am joined here by the wonderful Boney C. We've got the TSCC cast together.
We
We've
do,
got a
we
little
do.
lost. We've
A
ended
little
up
bit
on the wrong
early, but
channel.
I may have taken a wrong, turn here or there, but finding myself here. I suppose the British Isles have, I'm here for a week. Not a long stay, but a good stay, hopefully. So we'll get some matches from a competition I have heard many things about, but have never been involved until now.
Yeah, this is the 4th season, and it kicked off with something very surprising, which is quite relevant to this match.
All right.
For the first time ever, bozbez lost. Before this point, he had played 15 matches and come first 15 times.
Okay, all right,
But
all right.
I think after being maybe caught off guard or under tracked or something, he lost right at the death to a relatively unknown name in Lengthy. So
Oh.
I don't know if he's going to bounce back here, but he's up against Epos, who needs no introduction at this point. So we've got
I've
two of
heard
the
of him
best
once
players.
or twice. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Shocker.
I'm niche like that. Very underground.
Yeah, so two of the best players in the British Isles are in a match together here. Historically, this has always been a winning matchup for Boz, specifically in BIPL, but I'm not sure that's going to translate this time. I'm hoping it'll be a close game. But they aren't the only people in this first match. We also have Cozzer and Killian, two split players, two people who usually used to playing on the same team.
Yeah.
But they've both done quite well to get into Division 1. Killian won his spot last season, topping Division 2, and Cozzer managed to qualify straight into it at the start of this season.
Nice.
So,
nice.
yeah. I asked Cozzer just before we went live, who do you reckon's winning out of you or Killian? And he said Killian. So,
okay, all right.
That's the kind of confidence I like to see in players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you may be in a match with Epos and bozbez, but at the same time, your teammates there as well. Who's gonna win? No, I'm gonna lose. So I'm not quite sure how the division will be. Between first and fourth place in that situation. Because to me, it feels like, Killian and Cozzer right now are not necessarily in the best of situations matching up against, Epos and bozbez, who, have always been fighting at the top from what I've been seeing whenever I see them in any matches together, really.
Yeah, I've got, of course, Bod and Epos on the same team, so I think we're going to end up with a strange dynamic of we're going to have a 1v1 between the two Blue Jays players, and then a 1v1 between the two split players. And yeah, I'd be pretty shocked if, Cozzer or Killian could spring a surprise, but it happened last week with Linksy. So
I'd be curious to see it, because to me, just looking at the names, it feels like the top two is written in stone, but at the same time, right, if there is that upset possibility if bozbez has lost after 15 wins in a row, who's to say, this isn't another day where it could, it may happen, or maybe it was a fluke, and maybe it is bozbez, cooking things up and getting ready to actually win it all here. I'm just curious to see in that regard. And honestly, I'm just hyped to see how these players will play along on these tracks as well. Because, I haven't had too much time to play the tracks themselves, but they've been looking quite colorful and very flowy, I've noticed. Very flowy.
Yeah, I think they're definitely more flowy than some ones we've had in past. And I think... I don't want to say... The maps aren't easy by any stretch, but they're easier than, I think, the Season 3 maps, which were pretty brutal. So hopefully we're going to get kind of more close rounds, less crashes, but equally I think a lot of that will come down to how much, specifically the likes of Epos and Boz have practiced. In seeding, Epos still won seeding, but he was being a little bit crashier than usual, so we're going to have to see how it goes. But we are going live with round 1 here. Cozzer,
There you go.
Boz, Killian, and Epos. Who is going to start off with a win?
Yeah, also very excited as well to get back into some reverse cup mode. It's been a while for me to see the score line at 100 for everyone and everybody taking damage along the way. For now, nice close fight, honestly, at the front. Cozzer, he's starting to prove his I don't know if confidence, not lack of confidence, maybe is being proven right now. But it's only round number 1, right? We're just there, and even then, he's keeping up quite nicely. No big mistakes. Epos looking a little bit shaky there, actually losing some ground. But thus far, honestly, good first round.
Yeah, Killian holding his own so far against the 2 Blue Jays players. Still within touching distance of Boz. Does look a little slower through that second. He's going to need to get a good drift here, and he doesn't, particularly Epos. Gets up into second place. And I'll be intrigued to see what times we have coming out here. We get a 55.8 winning time and pretty much a 56 flat for second place. That's reasonable pace. That's about 0.5 off world record. So I reckon we might see some faster stuff in Boz and Epos. But
yeah,
respectable first run.
Yeah. It seemed like initially everybody very close together, and it wasn't until that drift along the water where the gaps really started to show, and a bit more confidence, a bit more daring happening there, with everybody just starting to really split from one another. Looks like Cozzer doesn't have that first half really on point. Once again, just falling behind. It's not necessarily that he's making a mistake. It's more that he is not taking the line as optimally as he could right there, just losing more and more ground. And at the same time, again, it's a three-way fight at the front, and I wonder how things will go once we hit that water section once again, because, I mean, this is a repeat of round 1 thus far.
Yeah, Boz and Epos absolutely neck and neck. Epos certainly closer this time around. Let's see who gets a better drift. I don't think either of them. I think we're pretty much matched here, so...
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful final drift there from Epos, though. And goes a 10 faster than the winning time last time. Again, I kind of feel for Killian. I feel like in any other match, the kind of times he's driving could well be winning times, or at least second place, but... you draw Boz and Epos, you're going to get Boz and Epos.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not quite enough, because, yeah, it's good pace. It's great pace even in some matches, but yeah, as you say, right, Epos and bozbez are in your lobby. Unfortunately, great pace isn't going to cut it quite well, but at the same time, I think he'd be quite happy knowing that, he's got the consistency on point. I think, he knows who he's up against. So being able to come in third and still making sure you're driving the times as well as you can would be great. Bit of a mistake there on the flagpole, but even then, thus far he's been really giving it a good fight. But that first and second place names still remain the same as we expect. bozbez and Epos duking it out. The Blue Jays flying out once more. And it's, again, going to come down to those last couple of drifts.
Yeah, Epos still ahead, but is he going to get a better drift here? I don't think he did, and it's going to be close, but those are the 2 fastest times in the match so far. We seem to have got about a 10 faster each round so far, and Epos and Boz almost matching each other there. So...
Yeah,
we're now down to 0.3 off world record, which start to get very respectable.
3 rounds in, we'll just keep the pace going. But yeah, round number 4, and already last round here on Mr. City. So far, honestly, I very much, the flow and whatnot is something that I mentioned earlier on, but it's because of these plastic turns, these grass turns, right? There's not as many drifts per se. It's more about, managing your car along those turns, because of the surface being the way that it is. Ooh, bozbez though. Ooh, he's out. Epos is left to his own, and Killian and Cozzer may be able to make up some ground here. Still maybe take some damage. Epos actually losing a bit of speed there. Killian's starting to catch up.
Killian could pull a blinder here. It's possible, but I think Epos has looked pretty strong on the last pair of drifts. I'm not sure how Killian's tech skills are. Apparently very good. He's caught up to Epos.
No, he's too worried.
But his second drift isn't quite as good.
He was worried.
Bit of a slow round from all involved there, but Killian there to pick up the piece when Boz makes a mistake, and critically in that fight between Killian and Cozzer. We see Boz overtaking Cozzer at the line there.
And that hurts as well, right? I mean, Cozzer already having a bit of a, tough map in and of itself. First couple of rounds stuck in 4th place, really not having any chance with no mistakes happening at the front. But also when there is that mistake from bozbez, not able to capitalize on it. It's unfortunate, but it's a tough lobby, right? From what he already said, right, not coming in with too much confidence, that usually doesn't help out too much, but at the same time, what can you do, really? It's match day. You're gonna have to get to it. You're gonna have to play, and I think he's just gonna have to look for any and all plays to make him some ground, but this is the way, pace is for him. I think he's gonna have to be fighting to stay in a match, because in this way, he's gonna lose his points first.
Yeah, it's looking like quite an uphill battle for Cozzer so far. But
as well,
that was
Epos
just...
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Epos has only lost 4 points so far, so
yeah.
won 3 out of the first 4 rounds. Looking pretty good. Not unbeatable. Boz has been there or thereabouts, and we do get a map change now. As we move on to possibly the worst named map in BIPL history.
I don't see the problem here. What are you talking about? Vowels, consonants, forget consonants along the way,
What this map is attempting to be called is Bottle of Water.
Yes.
But we've thrown it through the British translator. We've ended up with Bottle of Water. A map by Lynn that it's worth noting that Epos has the world record on, a 58.9. So if we're looking for good times, we're going to be looking for low 59s here. I think I remember there kind of being 59.2s, 59.3s driven last week, so that's the kind of pace we're going to be looking for from these top 2. As early on, Epos having to, I think he released there for a second to try and make it around the corner, gives Boz the advantage. Coming into this react section, not much time to gain here, but plenty to lose if he makes a mistake. Boz keeps a 1/10 advantage though. Goes so tight on the drift. Holds together. It's going to be a battle of the outside downhill dirts here. Still neck and neck. It looks like Epos is catching by just a few hundredths every checkpoint. Now they're pretty much side to side. This last drift could well define everything. And Boz goes 2 inside, clips the inside in that race. Is he going to have enough speed to make the risky finish even? Yes, he does, but not before losing out to Killian, who picks up another very important 2nd place.
Yeah, just Killian making sure he stays in there and keeps the damage to a minimum. I mean, bozbez there with the -7. Still, though, 10-point gap between Killian and bozbez for now, so not quite there yet. But, it's a road you got to work on. You got to take advantage of the mistakes that are being made, and thus far... Epos is able to take advantage of the mistakes that are happening on bozbez's side, and at the same time able to keep the pace that he is doing a phenomenal job for him. Once again, bozbez, stuck in 4th place, not having the best of lines, and looking to catch up to him. Thus far, Cozzer has been able to give him some room along the way, but for now, Cozzer is looking for some, any and all space to take advantage of the situation. But a good fight between Killian and Epos as well, but Killian losing it out right there as we enter into the dirt. Epos going so wide right there, just so close to the wall.
Ball's coming back.
Able to stay alive. That's the danger, right? You can't slow down. bozbez right behind you. He's pushing forward. I mean, he is now firmly in 2nd place.
Oh,
and
Epos crash!
Too far on the inside. A bit of, trading of blows. First bozbez with the crash right there. Now Epos picking up one of the walls there as well. And that's the, first big mistake there from Epos, actually. And first -10. So 16 points lost thus far, though. Over 6 rounds. Still doing good things, but at the same time, it's I mean, as I usually say, if you go for a drift, try to, drift into a wall, right? Because usually the car will turn you around, because some players tend to be a bit too careful, and they end up going too wide. I think Epos went a bit too close to the wall, right? So, advice doesn't always work.
It was almost a perfect copy of exactly what Boz did in the previous round.
Yeah.
I think Boz will have been quite surprised to win that round in the end after the first drift, where he lost about 0.4 seconds for the entire pack. But this time around, no mistakes so far. The two Blue Jays drivers right next to each other. The marginally different lines from dirt, but doesn't end in any difference. So, are we going to see them both get around this tech corner this time? We've had one crash each here, has decided the winner the last 2 times.
Oh, they did it.
They both make it. Boz goes more inside, but Epos looks to carry a hint more speed. And Epos gets it by 100th of a second.
And the talk, the gurs.
Yeah.
Coming out. But yeah, it's I mean, yeah, bozbez, Epos, good fight between the two. Cozzer and Killian still, you know, trying to stay competitive, but yeah, Cozzer is dropping down further and further. 36 points so far, and we're just about to close out this bottle of water. It's really been a tough one for him, and I think he came into this one probably with that mentality. But at the same time, right, you got to take the victories where you can, try to get some wins out where you can. And for now, he is in 3rd place, Killian on 4th. Still, though, Epos and bozbez keep that pace so high, right? They make sure that there really is no room to overtake, if not for a mistake somewhere along the way. And it's very demotivating, right, when you're driving a race like that, knowing you're slower and all you can hope for is a mistake. And even then, who says you're not the one making a mistake either, right? It's not easy to be in this lobby like this. But Epos has to pace up. He keeps the pace up. bozbez not really able to keep up along the way.
59-0.
Yeah, Epos is getting faster and faster, it seems. I mean, unfortunately, we're already done with the map, but he's getting closer and closer.
Is only 1200ths off his own world record there. That is an incredibly good time.
That is ridiculous.
Getting a 0.0. I have in my notes like low 59 is a good time. I don't think I quite was expecting to see a 59-0 in match at this point. So yeah, Epos looking strong. Boz, he is looking good, just not as good.
Bit more inconsistent. Yeah, I think that's really been it. Because when both Epos and bozbez are driving at the pace that they seemingly are used to, they're pretty much neck and neck the entire way through. The lines are just one-to-one copyable. Like, you could imagine that it's actually Epos or bozbez driving against their PB. That's how it feels, right? That it's so in sync. And it really just comes down to Epos being able to just get things a bit more cleanly and being a bit more consistent, as opposed to bozbez, who has... I mean, I don't have like a percentage per se, but I feel like 50% of the rounds, right? Half of the rounds, there's been some error on his end, and it's been costing him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's been that many, but it has been more than Epos, and that's kind of the important stuff. I also do feel Boz has got a little unlucky that whenever they finish, like, within 0.01 of each other or something. Yeah. It always seems to be Epos just ahead, which, by the player, that would start breaking me down slowly but surely.
Yeah, but, it's just barely making it, yeah. Fair.
Well, Cozzer and Killian are still in this match, because I don't think it's massive spoilers to assume that they're going out 3rd and 4th. The points gap isn't that big between 1st and 2nd, it's only a 4-point deficit, so... The big thing they have to do is try not to pick up any -7s or even -10s. And then they have the opportunity to start chipping away at each other a lot more once they kind of get down to 2-player state where it's an 8-point swing. No, it's still a 4-point swing. I'm absolutely incorrect there, but yeah, sorry, my bad. Over to you, Boney.
Hey! Well, Aftermath on stream has filled us once again. I really do recommend you do not pick up any math classes on Twitch. Honestly, if you're watching, just don't do it. They're going to be wrong every single time of the way. But bozbez now being able to keep Epos away from that 1st place. And a touch there as well from Epos. gets him even more space, but a mistake on bozbez's side. Once again, the tables have been turned, flip him all the way around, and it's Cozzer and Killian who are currently in first and second. Epos setting up the chase, though, looking for any and all space to get into it. Actually manages to catch up a bit through the drift and able to snipe Killian to the line there as well. Man, and Cozzer at the top, first place. Crowd is going wild. All the fans can't believe what they're seeing. Yeah, it's one of those things, right? You're supporting a team that isn't gonna quite make the cut, but that's okay. The heart is where it needs to be, and sometimes you get these moments, and all you can do is cheer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this one is not gonna be it though. This is
yeah, no.
We're done now.
Yeah, but that was the kind of round that Boz really needs to capitalize on if he wants to keep Epos within touching distance. That was a chance for a 10-point swing in his favor, and ended up being a 6-point swing the other way. So, yeah, very, very bad round there for Boz in the end. See whether he can keep it cleaner this time round here on Cheney. It should be the map that you'd expect for most practice to go on. This one is used in all 3 weeks. It was used in seeding. So, I'd be expecting people to look clean. Oh, Boz gets the no slide. That. That hurt to watch.
As well, yeah. I mean, I haven't spent too much time on these, but yeah, the tech is no tech there. I mean, any tech tournaments coming up, I don't think bozbez will be entering in anytime soon if this is the way these turns are turning out right now. But yeah, that was brutal, right? Another -10, just like that. I don't think it's gonna put him in any danger per se for ending up in like 3rd or 4th place. I think Killian and Cozzer, right? They have a long road ahead of them still if they want to somehow get out of the match later than bozbez. But Epos has so much space right now in terms of points, right? It's just making sure it's a bit of the maybe the Carl Jr. idea of things, right? Just if other people make mistakes, doesn't matter. You just keep driving, right? And that way you'll still get the points. Just be more consistent. I mean, Carl Jr. has the advantage that he is, in fact, Carl Jr. But I mean, Epos could, he can do that. He can mimic that. I mean, he's doing it right now. Look at him, just making sure he's driving the lines, making sure that even though bozbez is right next to him, doesn't matter. We're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep the pace high. This time the tech does not fail, but Epos cleaner through the turn ends up on 1st place, and another grrr coming out from Epos, and another -0.
Very good time.
Yeah. He's cruising.
Yeah, that is within 1/10 of world record there. World record is a .398 by Boz, which he only set an hour ago. So, yeah, Boz clearly showing pace, as I think we've seen in the match, but just not the consistency here on Cheney. But yeah, he's clearly very fast on this time around, though. It is Epos' turn to make a mistake, and Boz is going to be having to hope for a lot more of that. But this is a good point. Yeah, Killian is chasing, but also Epos is chasing down Cozzer. I'm not sure how many of them he'll be able to overtake. I reckon he'll get Cozzer, but Killian might. He's clipped. Okay, ignore that train of thought.
Yeah. He was on
Killian's...
this way. Yeah.
So, yeah, let's look at Killian. Yeah, okay, this isn't going to be a banger round, to be honest. It happens sometimes.
It does. Ooh, Boz. Yeah, no, he made it through. It looked a bit shaky there, but still making it through. Driving a 56.4. Solid driving still for him, recovering from the -24 that he has suffered on this map, and Cozzer now on 5 points remaining. It's looking very close to lights out for him right now. I mean, the only way he can keep his points positive is 1st places, right? And I mean, 1 second place, that's all you can do, and they'll be on 1. But yeah, it's looking like we're gonna have our first potential elimination happening.
Yeah, you can kind of understand. If Cozzer looked at this match, you kind of look at the lineup and go, maybe just go next this time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's improved a lot as a player recently. For reference, I he kind of came middle of Div 2 last season, so to even qualify into Div 1 is a huge achievement for him.
Yeah.
But also, Killian has improved a lot. The fact that, you know, it's not every round, and he is still being comfortably gapped by Epos and Boz, but he can hang in there. It's now a matter of a couple of attempts rather than about a second, which is what it probably would have been this time, maybe even 6 months ago. So I think both Killian and Cozzer can be relatively happy with how the season's going. They've just had some horrendous initial matches.
Yeah, and that's really, and I feel like that this match does underline that, right? As you said, like, I mean, I'm positive in any other lobby, Killian and Cozzer could be, definitely some dangers to be dealing with for any other players, but you just happen to be playing against Epos and bozbez, and yeah, it just so happens that these are both two players that right now are very much at the top of their game, and well, not just, from the BIPL side, but also, any international tournaments that we've been seeing both players have been doing phenomenally. So it's not surprising, but at the same time, Killian and Cozzer, right, I think they'd be far happier if they were in any other lobby.
Yeah, quite possibly. But this could well be the round where Cozzer falls into finalist, and we get our first player eliminated. How is he able to hang on at all, though? He didn't look particularly fast from this track, has to be said. He was comfortably being gapped by about 2 tenths by this point of the track every time. That's where he is this time. Killian isn't that far away, the lifeline that Cozzer will need, but I think at the moment it looks like it's going to rely on a crash from either of the other two, but never mind. Cozzer bringing it back with a good reactor section.
He's pushing.
It's going to come down to the tech here. That didn't look great, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be enough. All the players make it round. Boz leads from Epos, leads from Killian, and with Cozzer coming in last, he will drop down into last chance.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely was trying throughout the round, and at the same time, it doesn't, he could have not finished, and it wouldn't have mattered. So may as well try to go for it, but just didn't quite pay off, right? The lines just didn't quite line up. And as you say, it's every single time we've seen him start off on this track, he's been behind by about 0.2 of a second, just seemingly not able to match the pace that the others have been putting down. For now, though, he is finding himself inside the pack ahead of Killian, and I mean, once you're last chance, that's all you want, just one player right behind you, and thus far is able to do exactly that to stay in the match. Losing a bit of pace in Killian, but even then, there's still a lot of track to be going through, and bozbez, maybe in first place, wants to make sure he gets closer to Epos. It's Cozzer fighting for his life right now, and Killian going a bit wider. There may be enough for it. Yeah, I think Cozzer may be able to survive here. Nice inside drift there, and I think that is going to do it. He just needs to make sure he makes his way into the finish. No unfortunate crashes along the way, and he stays in, he stays alive. And Killian dropping 10 points does mean that Cozzer, if he does this one more time, then he may be able to get Killian into last chance mode as well, but that all depends on Epos and bozbez doing what they've been doing for, well, the past, 15 rounds, 14 rounds? So, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Killian under some kind of threat now. 2 more last places and he will go out in 4th, which I think he'd be bitterly disappointed with. But, there's still Epos and Boz at the front who have potential to crash. And there's still Cozzer, who, again, he's not had a great start here, but he is still within touching distance of Killian.
Those matches, losing a little bit on the grass, but even then, right, it's just that threat is still there, right? That 1/10 of a second, and I mean, Cozzer's just doing what he can do. Stay in, getting closer. bozbez out.
Crashes.
Well, you know what? Hey.
Oh, and that absolutely saves Cozzer as he does proceed to cliff after. And Killian crashed as well. No one wants to win this round other than Epos. 2nd place, anyone's game.
Oh, wow.
Not the finest driving we've seen.
No.
See some complaints at the concept of tech in the chat again. That's how you know it's a British tournament.
It's important to make your statement, right? Make sure to put all map feedback in live matches. That is the perfect way to
Yeah.
let any mappers know how anybody feels about the map.
And every map is a tech map.
Yes,
If
yes.
it has more than one drift.
Oh yeah.
But
oh yeah.
anyway, Cozzer might be feeling a little mixed about that round. On one hand, he stayed alive. On the other hand, Killian avoided last chance by 1 point. One potentially very crucial point here. But that said, Cozzer nowhere near the pack this time. Far further behind. Gonna be a massive uphill battle for the Englishman.
Ooh, manages to pick up some ground, but still not there, right? It's so close to it, and there's little track remaining. It's this final turn coming up, and everybody makes their way through clean, and flights out. That's it. Cozzer fought hard, stayed in for a couple of rounds, but with that, our first player out of this match, and it is going to be Cozzer in last place. Good effort, but yeah, not quite it.
I don't think that's a major surprise, to be honest, seeing Cozzer go out first. But I think the strongest feeling of anyone here will be relief from Killian.
Yeah.
I think it would have been hard to stomach. Maybe not hard to stomach. You know, I don't want to put down Killian. He's a very good player, and has been improving at quite a rapid rate recently. And you know, he is in the same team as Killian.
Yeah.
But I think Killian might have been nervous that he would have thrown about a 20-point lead at one point. But he holds on. And yeah, I don't expect him to survive much longer, to be honest. We saw a lot more crashes, I think, on Cheney than we did on any other track.
Yeah.
Particularly with the tech at the end, so he might get a lifeline, maybe 2, but yeah, no,
it's definitely
it's setting up for 1v1, you know.
yeah. I mean, you mentioned it at the start of the match as well, right? I mean, it's a 1v1 between Blue Jays and a 1v1 between Split. We've seen the victor of that first of the Split fight, I suppose, with Killian picking up the W over Cozzer, even though Cozzer got very close. But it would take Killian to drive at least second place for, well, I mean, the foreseeable 5 rounds, I think,
right,
something like that, which
hard
pressed to see.
I never want to tell people to stop watching, but over on our second channel, it is currently triple last chance. So if you want to go to British Irish TM2 for just like 3 rounds and then come straight back here, you're welcome to. Because Liffy, Yar, and Reno Fella are all on last chance.
I mean, that is very cool. That is very cool.
You might even get another round because Akro's wasn't on last chance and it just crashed massively. So, anyway, we get underway with our match here before I get distracted by what's going on in the second channel. As we have Epos versus Boz versus Killian. Killian on finalist. Looking for any way to keep himself alive here. I think just for pride more than anything else at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, its pace has been great throughout the match. It hasn't been as fast as Epos and bozbez, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, Epos in particular, right, driving so close to world record times, I don't think he'd be disappointed in any way, shape, or form, because once again, right, his pace is great, his consistency is great, he's following along. It's not quite there yet, but at the same time, can you really feel bad about that, knowing who you are up against, and with the final drift coming up here as well, it's gonna be lights out for Killian. So yeah, only 1 round in last chance, but with Epos and bozbez just driving as fast as they usually do. Honestly, for them, I think this may be considered a bit slow. It is going to be Killian out, and the 1v1 will ensue between Epos and bozbez, and Epos with a 20-point advantage. It's looking to perhaps deal a blow to bozbez that he doesn't get to deal that many times.
Yeah, it's a significant lead. And, you know, Boz is going to have to take the majority of rounds here. That's 5 round wins additional that Boz needs over Epos. But, unlike usual when I do this maths, he's actually got a lot of points to do that with. He can have a couple of slip-ups. We could well see at least 2 more maps in rotation.
Possibly.
They have such a lead, but for now, into the Blue Jays 1v1. We have First Blood going the way of Epos until he drives into a wall.
The water.
There we have it. The greatest caster curse so far. Well done, me.
How could you? How could you?
I was trying to keep it interesting, you know? Gotta keep people on their toes.
Well, I mean, you were right to do so, because it was a mistake and yet a landslide. I love landslide. I mean, it's different than tech, I guess. It's water tech. There you go. Blind grass reactor hill. I mean, that's my favorite type of mapping, honestly. But I mean, that to me sounds amazing. We need more of that. Give me more of that. But no, it's yeah, definitely the watery wheels not quite paying Epos any favors right there. Right before the dirt there as well, crashing into the checkpoint. So it wasn't as if there was, you know, even if he were to respawn, it would have been horrible. But at the same time, it's a 1v1, so there's not a lot to be gained from that. So bozbez making up 4 points because of that, but I mean, 4 points round after round after round is going to take out a lot. But now Epos with the mistake, and a bozbez. That
was a weird
was a bit of a clip happening there. Yeah, it was a bit of a clip. I think it went a bit too far on the inside and with the reactor and lost some speed along the way. Oh no! And once again, the landslides come in. And Epos again just stuck on second place. bozbez getting another advantage out of the situation. Doesn't need to take it too hard. Can just take it easy. And even on taking it easy, I mean, I say that a lot, but players never do, because he just drove a 59.2. So clearly he's not taking it easy.
Yeah, as I said there was a 20-point gap between them, but Boz would have to slide down. It's down to 12 here.
Yeah.
This is, no longer an outlandish suggestion that Boz can, try and take Epos all the way. Honestly, I would love to see a double last chance. I think these players are so evenly matched sometimes, and it's always good to see them on, maps where you can get close races. I say this, bottled water has been a little landslidey. We're going to see whether either of them have the issue here. No, they don't. Both keeping it clean this time. But with a 2-temp gap, you're not going to catch that up on Boz without a major mistake happening from him. He holds it together through the tech. One more jump down, breathes. Clips his way into
He's fine. He's fine. He's fine.
Yep.
But yeah, making up that gap by 12 points now. Definitely we'll be quite happy about that. I mean, Epos, I can imagine as well, just kind of kicking himself because of it was the 2 landslides that caused him to lose out on 2 potential round wins where, things were looking good, especially with the first one as well, right? Where bozbez was the one to make the mistake early on. And it really just came down to the watery wheels dooming Epos straight into a wall, and bozbez coming out on top. And maybe that was the momentum he was looking for, right? And at the same time as well, we don't have Cozzer and Killian in the match either. So any mistake that could happen doesn't deal as big of a blow as it would when there are 2 other players in the match, right? Right now we're dealing with -8 versus -4, which is a 4-point delta, versus Epos, who was able to get away with multiple first places, losing no points because of it, and bozbez at the same time, though, losing 10 points, I want to say 3 times thus far this match. But even because, because the match now is open, because we only have these 2 players remaining, bozbez is able to make up quite some ground if he just keeps the consistency high.
Yeah, he's looked, I think, significantly better in the second half of the match, and also, I don't think he's really had any crashes. I think he had 1 in the first round of 1v1.
Yes, yeah.
Where Epos then got it worse. And admittedly, that is a round where maybe Cozzer or Killian could have punished him fast, but without them here, it kind of feels like there's less benefit to safing. You just got to full send at this point.
Yeah.
Just try and outpace them, because you have a better chance of getting points by outpacing your opponent here than outconsistencying them once you get down to a 1v1.
Bit of a game of chicken, right? Just to see who pushes it further than the other one and who is the first to slam the brakes because of the hill coming up. But for now, Epos looking for his, well, first win, really, in this 1v1. I mean, throughout the match, he's been looking great, but starting to falter now that he is left with his teammate. And bozbez is really turning the thumb screws on quite hard as well, though. For now, a bit behind, 10th of a second, but still finding places, finding space to get by, but goes for the respawn because of the clip there as well. Would have lost a lot of speed there as well, going across the engine off, so I do not blame him for that, but at the same time, that is Epos able to widen the gap by 4 points, relatively free.
Yeah, gets it back to a 12-point gap, and even going for the safe finish.
All the time in the world.
Yep.
The VM. Oh no. Oh no. Man is saving. It's a safe finish. He's just saving.
Why would I risk the hardest drift ever made?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. That's just the economic driving right there.
I mean, it makes sense. We've seen crashes on that drift several times, so yeah, I mean, if you can avoid it, you might as well avoid it if you've got the gap. Especially when it's a 1v1. When one person crashes, that's your entire opposition gone. Don't need to worry about dropping points to, you know, some of the other players in the match. That's not a problem anymore, but this time around, Boz looking at Warpath, 10 second gap ahead already. Avoids clipping there. Looks like he went very wide to to avoid a repeat of what happened. Sorry, I got my tongue all twisted there.
That's why they call them tongue twisters, to be fair. So.
Indeed.
Epos is able to really catch up to bozbez, though. Yeah. He's just finding the space available to him. This time around, does have to go for the drift, but gets it down. Gets past and deals another 8-point blow to bozbez, and now the points are getting lower and lower. Another -8 would put bozbez into last chance mode. But even then, right, it's still a 1v1, it's still that gap, but the moment bozbez hits last chance, the gap can only shrink. That's all it can happen, that's all that it will do, but it obviously also means that bozbez needs to win every single round from that point on.
I think that's like, oh no. Position now where he almost does have to win every remaining round. Sure, he could take the -8 here, but it'd leave him having to do 5 on the bounce with no room for error. This one, though, should be going away at Boz. We see a crash from Epos early on. He's... yeah, no point really pushing. Just use for time, mental reset. Try not to do it again. Next round, go next. Are we going to see Boz take the safe finish, though, I wonder?
I mean, surely, right? Surely. He'd do that, right? But
don't want to be
definitely best situation. Oh, does he go for it? Oh, he is drifting. He's going for it. Wow. Showing what's what. Like, yeah, I could save. I won't. I can't do this cross exit. Well, you know. If you're not left, is that okay? Well, there you go. Some just some talk, some banter. Again, drop all your map feedback in live rounds. That's the only way to get to the mappers. Fully agree. But best situation for bozbez right there. Making sure he is, he's on -2, so he's going to be in last chance no matter what. But keeping Epos on his toes, keeping him nice and close, and considering, -8, that's just 2 rounds for Epos to go down to last chance as well, bringing him down to, a punching distance for bozbez, because that's really been the name of the game, right? Epos is just has been towering over him in terms of points, and now bozbez is just bringing him down to his level. And once again, a great duel between the two, but no early mistakes from either side. So you go both ways with bozbez. Yeah, beautiful outside line. Epos not able to match it quite yet, and because of that, losing some space, losing some speed. bozbez just barely makes it around that pole, and once again, the drift will come in. Epos going a bit wider than bozbez, but there's just too much distance between the two, and bozbez does exactly what he needed to do. Will be last chance, but Epos on 6 points, that's exactly what you want.
Yep. Boz celebrating the fact he managed to keep the grass gear there, and not only did he do that, that was, I think, 1.5 tenths off his own world record there. So, not bad at all from bozbez, as we do get the map switch here. We go on to Mr. Setti. As you can't see it, as I do get to watch warm up while you see my ugly mug. But Epos' exact words, "Wait, you're good here. I'm dead." To which bozbez says, "Lol, last riffle plus point to me." So neither player optimistic of their odds to win, but if we look for permutations, it's very simple now. Epos needs to win one round of the next two. If he doesn't, and if bozbez wins both of them, then it's game.
Yeah. I'll say that, like, this talk about, oh, this map, oh, you're good at that. No, I'm bad at this, blah, blah, blah. All sandbagging. It's all lies. It's all nonsense, all right? Every single pro player does this. How do you feel about this map? Well, it's in the moment, still having some issues with this turn, blah, blah, blah. And you see them play and they crush it, and you're like, nah, you were just... and the moment they start acting overconfident, then it's the exact reverse, right? And they're like, oh yeah, no, this is my best map. I'm doing phenomenally on it. And somehow they crash and burn in the match. You're like, what are you talking about? You said you were good at it. What happened? So that's key, right? And I think that is what they're trying to do. They are trying to, well, it's not like muscle confusion, but maybe brain confusion, where just tell myself, tell other people that I am bad, which in turn makes me good, but they're both doing it. So who's better?
Well,
we'll see.
There's only one way to find out. Not quite fight, is it? The next line from there. Drive? Doesn't have as good a ring to it. Anyway, we get underway here with what will either be the last or penultimate round. It is Boz versus Epos, the battle of the Blue Jays. For now, Epos is ever so slightly ahead, but Boz gets a great turn there. Neck and neck through the grass section. 3,000th the split at that checkpoint. Basically inseparable. The grass entries look a little better for Epos here, and that's going to up the gap to about 1/10 of a second. Some good outside lines. How is this reactor going to go? This can cause some big kind of time changes, and it's gone well for Boz. He gets a better entry there. 200ths of a second here. He goes inside. Epos dips down but doesn't pick up the water. Boz with better end. No. Who's going to take it? It is Epos.
Oh, no.
Oh, what a round.
Oh, no. Oh, equaled it. I mean, it seemed like, because Epos went a bit wider there, and at the same time, Boz was having some more speed, but then having to release it, it just... that was that was an exhilarating round, honestly. It like, bozbez had some beautiful drifts right there. I mean, at one point as well, having a bit of an odd line on the uphill dirt early on in the map. I think he was a bit worried about what happened there and losing some pace on Epos, but then able to drive it back. I mean, that was honestly a great round between the two, but at the same time, both players just... I mean, I'm not sure if tiptoeing is the word for it, but they seemed like, okay, well, okay, I guess I'll go. And still driving the pace that they used to, but bit of a different round, but a close round at the end, and honestly a great way to close out the match.
Yeah, honestly, whenever you get Epos and Boz in a match together, when they're both at a similar level of prac, it's always so close here. Epos coming out on top for that time. But only by 2 points. That could have gone either way. That last corner, so decisive overall. If we're looking in terms of the overall standings, it's a bit hard to kind of say how it's going to go, but Boz is now going to need a hell of a lot of luck if he is going to go and... Yeah, if he's going to go and... pick up his 4th title here, as he is only on 6 points from the first 2 games. And to be honest, based off that performance, I would expect him to probably win every remaining game. It slightly depends how well, like, Jadon and Wizzy play.
Mm-hmm.
But Epos, with a perfect start so far, he's got probably the person he would call his biggest threat out of the way now.
Yeah. And that's the thing, especially it's razor thin margins in that regard. And I mean, that 2-point gap right now between Epos and bozbez, I think Epos very happy in that regard. As you say, getting that threat out of the way. At the same time, Jadon potentially getting a 4-pointer would put bozbez in an even worse position to, try and defend the title, because 6 points is good, but it's not going to cut it if the number 1 spot is what he's looking for, especially with, 3 more 4-pointers. I mean, it would take Epos in this situation to get into second place 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, especially because on the head-to-head tie now, Boz will lose out to Epos, so I'm not sure there's enough threatening people in this division. So Boz may be out of it in terms of the overall standings, but that certainly doesn't mean it's all over. Of course, one player mentioned there was Jadon, who we will be catching in our next match up against Wizzy. We will catch you all in a moment for that.